Hello, guys, and welcome back for the ninth episode of Road to Superbowl podcast that will tell you everything you need to know about any single NFL team, what their window in terms of opportunity to win a Super Bowl, how they did last season, what are we expecting for them to do this season, how they handled the off season, what is their roster gonna look like, and what we should do or I would do as a GM if I were there to draft the players in this year's draft. So overall, this is a series that is trying to put you behind the eyes of general manager of every single NFL team and to see what was done, what should be done, what is being done, and how I view these moves. Today is the episode number 9, so we are entering the second quarter. Sorry, guys. We are entering the second quarter, and it feels like we've entered with a great pass, getting 40 yards, and now we are being held and pulled back by the referees for some silly penalty. What I mean by that is, I already made this episode. I was almost in the end, I was talking about the secondary, just to realize that for some reason the recording has stopped somewhere minute 7. So it's a very unfortunate situation. It was a fake penalty, it was not there, but the refs pulled us back, so we need to grind up even more and fight back. So with no further ado, let's talk about the Jets. We talk about their last season, what they've done in the off season, then we go to run down their team as it is right now. Within that, we will talk about some of the main topics for this team that kind of represents where they are or what they are looking for. Those topics are going for it, which means this is really a team that I feel like nobody will be surprised if they will win it all this season. They are definitely going for it. The signings are representing that. Deals they are making, the type of deals, the type of players they are bringing, they are definitely saying we are all in, we want to win this year. It coincides with health issues and health concerns about this team and especially about the newcomers. And the part of it is they were to sign the best that is on the market, but given their cap situation, they needed to be smart about it and they were most likely signing veteran players that had injury concerns. For that, they could be signed for much cheaper deals that their actual quality would demand, but it's a lot of flipping coins if they can stay healthy or they cannot. And the last one is New Jack City, which is, I believe, a nickname that either comes up about the secondary or they just made up about themselves. And coming from Seattle fanhood, I'm a big Seattle Seahawks fan. I remember Legend of Boom, obviously. And I feel like this is definitely a secondary that, since the Legion of Boom, it's the first one that really deserves a nickname because it's spectacular. Especially the cornerback room, man. That group is really something special. So we will be talking about that later. Let's now focus on what the 2023 was for Jets. And pretty much that season took 5 to 10 snaps before Aaron Rodgers snapped his Achilles and the season was done. They still won the first game against Buffalo, and maybe that was the worst that could happen because it told them, yeah, maybe we can trust Zach Wilson. And the season showed you cannot. You should have signed a veteran QB, and you should have not wasted an amazing defense that, if there is something to take from last year, it's the defense did not give up despite they definitely could. I think for them and for the Patriots defense, both of these defenses deserve a lot of credit because they did not give up despite offense just dragging these teams down and down. I think Jets defense is better, but the Patriots' record of having 3 straight games of not allowing an opponent over 10 points and still losing, this new NFL record that they set last season, that's pretty impressive. It's pretty impressive in a really bad way, but it's impressive from the side of defense. If you are a fan of defensive football, I recommend to watch Jets versus Patriots. It was really something. It was really something. And I mean, it was like a bully on the playground because the defenses were absolutely bullying the offenses. They could not do. I mean, the weather was not good for that game, but At the same time, those offenses just compared to these defenses were a laughing stock. So the unfortunate thing is the season just they did not give themselves a chance. Even after Aaron Rodgers' injury, I feel like they could have made some noise if they signed a veteran QB, but they just did not do that, and the season went to dumpster fire. For this offseason, I really like what they have done because they said like we have limited cap hit, we have Aaron Rodgers whose cap hit for this season is only 70 million. Next year it's 51. We are going for it. Like this is our year. We don't kind of screw the future. Let's focus on right now. And I think when you get a special quarterback, which Aaron Rodgers is a special guy, you have to try to use this window. Like just the same as Tampa Bay did with Tom Brady. Like they are trying to do here with Aaron Rodgers. It's also like the general manager job is on the line. The head coach Robert Saleh job is definitely on the line. So if they did not took this opportunity, it would be like stupid from their perspective as much as the perspective from the team. So unlike with the Giants, where I feel like maybe like GM and coach jobs on the line do not cooperate well with like long-term success of this team, or like the best way to approach handling the situation that they are in, because I don't think they will draft a QB because of the situation of GM and Brian Daboll as their head coach. But here I think it works in kind of harmony. So 2024 is the year of Jets. It could end up ugly if Aaron Rodgers gets injured again, if the O-line, which is going to be the biggest question mark for this team, the veterans they sign, they have injury concerns. If they will get injured, it could get ugly. They could be as bad as they were last year, despite going for it, because they've signed a lot of injury-prone guys. But the highs are really high, and I feel like if everything comes together, this is definitely a Super Bowl contender. So with no further ado, let's check their weaponry as the first part of their roster rundown. For the newcomers, we will start with weaponry, which consists of QBs, tight ends, running backs, and wide receivers. Then we go O-line, D-line. In D-line, we include linebackers, then secondary, and then we will wrap it up with coaches and special teams. What is there to know? This is mainly a podcast, but I've tried to create some presentation to go alongside it. There will show you faces of players on cards or like a player cards that I've made for them. So if you want to get to know much more like how the players actually look like, this is the time. I will let you know now it's the time to put your glasses on and check these players, and then you can come back to listen. Also, the part that you can find interesting in terms of viewing is the part of salary and cap hits that all the players will have. We will have that attached every time after we will go through each and any single group with the player cards. So let's start with weaponry. So put your glasses back on and let's check it out. So we will start with Aaron Rodgers, obviously, Zach Wilson, Tyrod Taylor, Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, Mike Williams, Alan Lazard, Israel Abanikanda, Tyler Conklin, CJ Uzomah, Xavier Gibson, and Brock Bowers. I think Brock is the second player or the third that I've actually added from the draft to the team that I feel like should draft him and he could be available for them in the draft. I think this is a really special place for Brock Bowers. I think he is what Alan Lazard is, but like much better version, like big body guy that is gonna play a slot wide receiver or can play tight end, but he will just be a much better version of Alan Lazard. And I feel like if Aaron is in love with Alan, which I think he is, I think you need to tell him like we can give you a much better version of that guy in Brock Bowers, and I feel like this could work very well. But we will see. Maybe they won't draft Brock Bowers, maybe he won't be up there when they are on the clock. But this is my tip. So now let's check the tables. In terms of off-season moves, this is where we started in terms of free agency, and this is where we are right now. So now you can come back to just listen. Just one thing, when you see these tables, I'm gonna tell you what the yellow and what the red typing means. Yellow is 50-year option for players. With Zach Wilson, they are definitely not going to pick this one up. And red numbers meaning dead cap or void years that are being attached to the contract of the players because they restructured it. Which what does that mean? Is imagine Aaron Rodgers has like 2-year, 100 million type of deal, but you don't want him to have a cap hit of 50 million for 2024 because you are trying to win now. So what you can do, you can restructure the contract so his cap hit for this season is only 17 million, but you have to pay money down the line. So you will push them to 2026, and there, even with no Aaron Rodgers on the roster, your cap hit for Aaron Rodgers will be 35 millions. It's something that most of the team use to try to optimize the window, and then there's New Orleans Saints who use it just like a kid in the candy shop because they can. That's gonna be like the episode that I'm gonna be. You will probably will find me really unhappy about the way they are doing their things down there. Like, not that you cannot do that, but like with the selection of players that are trying to prolong their window with, like, man, I just don't like it. So if you are expected of some episode where I'm gonna be mostly annoyed and bashing the general management, like, wait for the Saints one. It's coming quite soon, actually. So what they've done is they brought 2 veterans in Tyrod Taylor and Mike Williams. I think Tyrod is very good signing. Is some like prototype of a guy that they should have signed last season to back up Zach Wilson when Aaron Rodgers went down. Because I think you can win games with Tyrod Taylor. I think he's a 30 to 40 best QB in the league. So with this special defense that we will come to, and with the type of weaponry that is somehow there is something to work with, definitely, you can win games. So I would not even be surprised if Aaron Rodgers went like some weeks that he would normally play. He would say, like, maybe it's better for me to heal like minor to moderate injuries, give Tyrod Taylor that game, especially if you are playing against someone you should be beating, and try to like optimize his health situation for the playoffs, because that's where the prizes are obviously being handed, and that's where you want prime Aaron Rodgers to be. So I would not be surprised, or even if he has some setback in terms of Achilles injury, maybe you can start Tyrod Taylor like week 1 and just optimize when Aaron Rodgers should play. Like, I think he will be playing, he will try to play, but I feel like it could be a very smart move to maybe hold him off 1 week or the other, just to have him as healthy as possible for the playoffs. Because Tyrod, I genuinely like this guy. I think he is probably not the guy that is deserved like a starting opportunity like Gardner Minshew and Jacoby Brissett. I have these guys like a little bit above Tyrod, but it's really close, and having him as a backup, you are absolutely good. With Zach Wilson, he's still going to be on the roster, most likely, because cutting him won't save you a dime. But maybe they are just so done with him that they will just cut him just not to look at his face for the season, which, I mean, it sucks for Zach Wilson. I'm not sure what the future for him is, because he looks like a deer in the headlight. Like, he lost absolutely his mojo. He lost his confidence. And when even Aaron Rodgers, who, from what I heard, is a good mentor for young QBs, who is a hero of Zach Wilson, if he could not bring this back to Zach Wilson, I'm like, well, maybe it's just not cut out for him. He made some good money because of the rookie deal, because of the way he was drafted. So it's not like he is not in a way set for life. You know, like, he earned close to 20 million or maybe even more. So yeah, that's fine. I mean, even after taxes, you are probably like 8 to 10 millions you have left, so that should give you good life. So it's not like I feel like super sorry for the guy in terms of like living, but obviously I feel sorry for him because he is another guy that was ruined with really poor O-line, no weaponry in his starting years in the NFL, just like Mac Jones, and he just never recovered. Mostly, I think mentally, I feel like the arm strength is still there. He can still show some flashes, but there is just no consistency. There is just no even trust in himself. And whoever saw the video of him like tripping himself up when he runs to the field, it's like, yeah, I think that's where he is in terms of his head. Other than that, with running backs, this room obviously belongs to Breece Hall. He is a great player. I have him an amazing starter, which means he's like a second tier guy to me. He's not quite reached the elite level, but I would not be surprised if he enters that this season. And behind him, you have Israel Abanikanda. I do expect that maybe they will sign some veteranship and maybe someone like Zeke. We will see, but I feel like this room would be better off with some veteran. Sorry guys, with some veteran in there. In terms of wide receivers, you have your number one amazing guy, Garrett Wilson. Here too, he had a down year, but it's really hard to not have a down year, given who is throwing you the ball. So I really feel like he might even enter the elite level as soon as this year with Aaron Rodgers behind the center. Behind that, you sign Mike Williams, who is a very good player. The problem is like the expected amount of games that he is going to play is 6. Like it's something like 6 or 7 because he is just so much injury prone. So we are flipping. If the coin falls on its head and you choose the head, like yeah, this could be a great signing. If not, you are not spending that much money. You just try it, and I like the try. Alan Lazard, he has one of the worst contracts in the entire NFL. Like he has the best for him, but for the organization, it's one of the worst. He's been signed as a buddy to Aaron Rodgers, so you can expect that he's gonna look better with Aaron Rodgers behind the center. But man, he was dreadful last year. Like he cannot separate. He is slow. He is not good in using his huge body. He's not coming down with catches. Like, man, this is just ugly. Like, no, this is just ugly. Like, I cannot say it any other way. You hope for some resurgence for him, that he could be like a serviceable number 3 guy. That maybe he can get to some touchdowns because of I don't know, just could use him on the goal line. But man, this is not good. Like he has to step up his game like 3 levels from last year to being worth the money they are paying him, and that's really a tough ask. In terms of Tyler Conklin, I think you have a decent guy, not really that much depth behind him, so that's again why I feel like Brock Bowers kind of solves both of these issues, kind of replaces Alan Lazard as this big slot wide receiver, and you can definitely use him as in 2 tight end sets with Tyler Conklin as well. So Brock Bowers, I feel like really completes this group quite nicely. Overall, this offense can be very good. This weaponry can be very good. It's obviously health concern with Mike Williams, with Aaron Rodgers, bit with Breece Hall, but the upside is definitely there. The problem is like, especially when you will put O-line into the mix, is there's not really much of a floor because of the injury concerns. But overall, very good room. Alan Lazard drags it down for the money. Like, man, you could have so much better player for that type of money. But let's not bash Alan Lazard anymore. Overall, good for what you need to do. And you don't need this group to win you every match, because that's what defense here is for. But you need them to keep you in games, to put some points. And I feel like Aaron Rodgers with this weaponry can put up 20 points on pretty much anyone, and 20 points could be absolutely enough for the defense to beat anyone. So yeah, very well constructed for what you need to do. You have one bad contract within that, but well, that happens. Let's go to the O-line. So put your glasses back on if you want to get to know these players and their faces. I give you 5 more seconds for that. Okay, here we are. Laken Tomlinson, Elijah Vera-Tucker, Joe Tippmann, Wes Schweitzer, Max Mitchell, Carter Warren, Mekhi Becton, Tyron Smith, and Morgan Moses. If you are watching this for the first time, you should know that here we are showing players that I believe are impactful players enough that they should either have a high amount of snaps or they were impactful in 2023, and whether they are being let go or they were not being re-signed, I want to show you guys here who those guys were, and I will also add like the noticeable additions. So here for additions it's Tyron Smith and Morgan Moses. Give me 20 more seconds because I'm gonna show you tables. Elijah Vera-Tucker with his 50-year option, Laken Tomlinson and Wes Schweitzer with some void money. And here we are right now. You can see they brought Tyron Smith and Morgan Moses. Immediately with Tyron Smith, you can see he has 3.6 million moved into the future. Just to explain those 900k, it can be split that you have 2025 only 900 for 26, 27, 28. So the total number is 3.6. It's not 3.6 plus 2.7. So just to set this record straight, for Joe Simpson, the added money are 2.1 million. It's not 3.5. It's not. You cannot add it. It's like how it prospected to be like put in the future if things go this or that way. Especially in terms of re-signing these players. But I'm not going to go into much details. I just wanted to let you know it's not this big price and the small fees and added to them. It's just that, but it's still a lot. So what they have done for this group, they look at it and realized, yeah, this is a group that will have an opportunity to absolutely drag our year down. Like this was not a good O-line by any stretch of imagination, and they addressed it. And they've addressed it in a way that they've done all season, all the off season. They brought experienced veterans, maybe with some injury concerns, especially in Tyron Smith, for the money that they can afford. So very good. And with Morgan Moses, I just don't understand this move for the other part, Baltimore Ravens, because they only got like 4th round or 5th round pick and some kind of swap of picks. So like really nothing pretty much for top 10 right tackle in the league who has only 5.5 million cap hit. Like what are you doing, Baltimore? Like you are still in the window. You are letting him go to a contender from your own conference. And why? I just don't get it. Like I feel like if you get like a 3rd rounder from this, then okay. Like I see you want to move younger, but he doesn't have a huge cap hit. He is very good, and you are not getting anything pretty much substantial in return. Yeah, I hate this. Like I would understand it like slightly more if it's like Giants or whatever, like someone from the other conference. Maybe it's not a title contender, but to just give Jets what they needed for this price. Hate this move. But if there are several groups and teams that you are not questioning if they make a move, and Baltimore Ravens, you have to trust in what they feel and what they do about their O-line, because it's their strength for long years, and they could develop players like not many teams can on that position. So I assume they know what they are doing, but for me this is an A+ move for the Jets. Other than that, in terms of inside, you have Elijah Vera-Tucker, you have John Simpson, you have Wes Schweitzer. I think you can survive with Vera-Tucker and John Simpson. They are decent players, and there's a good thing that Joe Tippmann looked very good for a rookie last year. For a rookie center, he looked very good in a situation where he should not be looking good, because the rest of the O-line and the play of the QB were dreadful. So I might have him a bit low. He might already be the scene starter, but to me, I just want to see more. But I would not be surprised if he ends up good starter for me, like week 8, week 9. I really feel like he could make that leap. This is definitely a group that you cannot count on them, like to be your strength, but they should not lose you games. Or maybe just like they will be the plays will be made against them, against the inside of this line, and you will say, oh my god, wish they had someone better. But it should not be made on a regular basis. So unless because of one of these plays, for example, I don't know, should get injured, that's where you could go like, oh my god, fuck me. But yeah, I think for the money you are spending here, you are getting good return. And the problem with this group for me is you are not going to be able to address it very well in the draft, because first of all, there is no one with the number 10 pick that you should be drafting for the inside of offensive line. It would be an overdraft, an outrageous overdraft. And if you like draft down, which may be just good, you get like late first round and maybe middle second round and maybe even something more for this pick. I don't feel like it aligns well with your window to spend your best asset in the draft or to draft an inside of an offensive line, because O-line is generally speaking not the position that transitioned the best towards production in year 1 in the NFL, and this is the 1 year that you are going for it. So I don't think you should be drafting guys with the premium pick here. Like, I don't think that should be the case. I feel like you need to invest that pick or the picks you get from drafting down into players that can play immediately and product you very good reasons. That's why I did not like the Will McDonald draft last year, because we will get to that later. But overall, I don't think you will address this in draft with premium. I can see third or fourth round pick being spent here, but that's more of depth purposes, not that it would improve this group as it is right now. With this group, if players stay healthy, it's a good group. If not, I hope, Aaron, your legs are okay, because you will have to run a bit more than you would hope. And I really don't think like there is, maybe still David Bakhtiari is still on the table, but you are not bringing him because you have Tyron Smith. So maybe it's like he has to be available within the season when Tyron Smith goes down with an injury. And like the only reason for David Bakhtiari to still be up at that point is like all of the teams feel like he should not be playing because of his injuries, or that he's waiting for only to play with Aaron Rodgers, which like feels weird, because if that was the case, I would say that he would be signed here instead of Tyron Smith because of the connection with Aaron. So I don't really see that many like veteran presence that you can sign here to have an insurance. So it's like you hope that the coin flips in your direction and you have a good O-line. Overall, this offense to me is like weird because it doesn't have the highest floor because of the injury concerns. Like if we say that Aaron Rodgers is coming back from an injury and he just doesn't look like his former self, or if he re-injures, because it can happen, especially with his age, then Tyrod Taylor like is a good, decent QB, but you kind of see like when I'm saying he's 30 to 40, best QB in the league, like that doesn't give you the biggest floor. And then with Mike Williams, again injury prone, like I can see this team being without Mike Williams, without Tyron Smith, like week 4. And if you are without Aaron Rodgers at that point, you are pretty much in the very, very similar situation to where you were last season. You have slightly better chances because you have Tyrod Taylor, not Zach Wilson. You hopefully have Brock Bowers. You have Morgan Moses. So you are not as bad as last year, but as clear as week 3, week 4, it could be, well, not 20 points, but we have to win with like 15 defense. Step it up, yeah. But the highs for this group, just not to just talk about the bad situation, but the highs is, can I say? I think I can say that if everyone stays healthy, if Aaron Rodgers is the guy that he was before the injury, or even if he was the guy that won an MVP like in 21, it was, I think, then highs are definitely as high as like top 5 offense. Like, I think that if everything meshes together very well, that's where we're talking. That's what we're talking about. So it could be as bad as like 23, 24, and it could be as good as 5. Like, obviously 23, you're not going to be 21st best offense with Aaron Rodgers. That's with him being injured. Okay, let's go to defensive side of the ball, where like, I'm sorry if I will be too optimistic, but I absolutely love the Jets defense. And also I love that they are in different conference, and my Seattle Seahawks don't have to play them almost anytime soon. I'm not sure if we play them this year, but it's good that we only have to play them one every 4 years. So, put your glasses back on. Here are the players. Quinnen Williams, John Franklin Myers, Javon Kinlaw, Will McDonald, Jermaine Johnson, Michael Clemens, Quentin Jefferson, Solomon Thomas, Bryce Huff, CJ Mosley, Lecky Fotu. I'm sorry, I just had to add a Lecky in the suit because I like when players just suit up and they just try to do good. Quincy Williams, who I believe is Quinnen's brother or cousin, I'm not sure, but I think he's brother. So here is where we were before the free agency started, and here we are right now. You can put you see a lot of red numbers here that just says we are going for this season. One note here, I have not added Hassan Reddick into the mix just yet. It's a late addition for this group, and I just wanted to talk about Hassan Reddick because I'm not sure that I love this move, because I feel like you could have resigned Bryce Huff and just think about the future a bit more. And also you had to spend like 3rd round or 2nd round, depends on how much Hassan Reddick is going to play. But he is a better player than Bryce Huff is right now, and that's what matters, right? So, okay, but then we will talk about some moves that maybe just doesn't make sense in terms of if you are making this move, Hassan Reddick over Bryce Huff, because of we are optimizing this year, why did you make other moves? But we will get to that. Hassan Reddick, he has only 1 year left on his deal. It's worth $15 million in terms of cap hit, so he would be behind John Franklin Myers in the cap hit situation. He to me is a very good starter, so he just improves what is already a very, very good line. We started inside. Quinnen Williams, what is there not to like? I think if you are Aaron Donald and you look at the successes you have in terms of inside of the defensive line, you are proud. Chris Jones, Quinnen Williams, Dexter Lawrence, these guys might already be on his level, might even be better, maybe, maybe you didn't have to watch a lot of Giants and Jets game because they were not interesting in terms of playoff. But these two guys, Quinnen Williams and Dexter Lawrence, are amazing, and Chris Jones, I think it's kind of self-explanatory. He is, I would say, behind Patrick Mahomes, he's the second reason they have won both Super Bowls in the last 2 years, because he just turns it up for the playoffs. He might just be amazing to an elite guy, and then he's the freaking monster in the playoffs. So you have Quinnen Williams. You also signed Javon Kinlaw. I like this move. It reminds me of signing Solomon Thomas last year. You are taking a former first round that, especially with Javon Kinlaw, Robert Saleh is familiar from his time in San Francisco, and he definitely did not return the first round value, but he showed some flashes last year, and you are kind of giving him 1 year prove-it deal. You are reuniting with your former defensive coordinator. You are getting into the group that is amazing. You are getting into the group that wants to win a Super Bowl. For Javon Kinlaw, great situation. For Jets, I mean, great. Again, in terms of when I'm flipping the coin, Javon Kinlaw could play as good if he returns what we thought of him, entering the draft. He could play as a very good starter. He could play into that level, maybe even an amazing starter. Or he could just be bad. But you are, again, flipping the coin, because that's what you do. when you're trying to win the Super Bowl and you are kind of behind the 8 ball and you're trying to make leaps to come close to behemoths like Kansas City Chiefs, you need to take risks, and with that risk you need your coins to flip your direction. Behind him, Leki Fotu, really good insight. Like, maybe you would be happier if there was someone more proven than Javon Kinlaw as your number 2 guy, but I mean, yeah, that's just nitpicking. In terms of edge guy, the only thing you are kind of missing, and I don't think Hassan Redding brings that, is just this elite guy. You don't have your TJ Watts, you don't have your Joey Bosa's of the world, but you have pretty much tier 2, tier 3 guys, and you have like 5 of them, which is like crazy. So Michael Clemons, Jermaine Johnson, Will McDonald, John Franklin Myers, and Hassan Reddick. It's incredibly deep group. Here I'm gonna be a little bit pessimistic, or not pessimistic, like a little bit critical, because if you are trying to win right now, and I think like that was the mindset last year, why do you draft Will McDonald? Like, you are drafting with a premium pick guy that played only 200 snaps, and it's not like he played 200 snaps because he was bad. He was good when he played. It's not he played because he was injured. No, he was healthy all season. The reason he didn't play is you have so many good players on that position. So he's not an impactful player year 1, and he might not even be very impactful year 2, because again, you brought Hassan Redding, you have John Franklin Myers, and you have Jermaine Johnson, who is kind of Will McDonald because you drafted him very, very high, and he got his opportunities, and he absolutely showed he is a good player, and I feel like he might enter an amazing starter level as soon as like week 10. Like, there is so much to like about Jermaine Johnson, but again, like, why are you doing this to yourself? Why are you drafting Will McDonald when this group is already very good, and you are just wasting your prime pick, other than like invested it in groups that really needs that? So, you know me, I like putting strength over strength, but this feels like you are putting good over good over good, like over good. Like, you are adding very similar quality pieces that hinges the development of the good guys that are coming from the draft, because there is only so many snaps going around, and it does not in general like improves that much your defense. So I feel like Will McDonald played to his draft pedigree last year, and I still hate this pick for just what the Jets are trying to do. So I hope that this season they won't spend that 10 pick on an edge guy. Like, I mean, they might because they are the Jets, but like, and this is why I'm not a huge fan of Hassan Redding signing. And like, okay, like, I do understand we are going for it, but man, I just wish I could have seen Jermaine Johnson just being given the reins. You are our primary weapon here, and just be that alpha guy that we believe you can be. And I think he really could be. And with Hassan Redding there, I think it will hinge his development. Hassan Redding definitely improves this D-line. There's no question about that. But I just wished to see more Jermaine Johnson, more Will McDonald when you have invested draft picks into these guys. If you don't have Will McDonald, yeah, Hassan Redding signings absolutely crazy good. But okay, that's the D-line. But overall, it's like an exceptional D-line. I mean, easily top 10. Top 5, maybe, like some borderline top 5 D-lines. The only thing you are missing is that alpha guy. You don't have your TJ Watts, you don't have your Myles Garrett's of the world. But you have, at least, I think, in Jermaine Johnson, a guy that could reach that upside. But probably not this season. And then you go to linebackers, and you love what you have. Like, you have a perfect combination of CJ Mosley, this captain of the defense, the brain of the whole operation, the prolonged second arm of Robert Saleh on the page, experienced veteran who's gonna play with his brain, and he still plays very good with his legs and with his hands. And then you have Quincy Williams, who is just gonna be a guy that want to play with his intuition, with his speed, with his toughness, and they are just perfect complement to each other. Because like if CJ Mosley can like, like I imagine is like playing Madden and he can just control, what Quincy Williams does. Before the snap he tells him like, yeah, they are probably going to run this, just shoot this gap or do this. I feel like it's a perfect combination, and they both played on very, very good level last year. So also with Quincy, you have the family connection with Quinn and Williams, which only adds to the fun of this. And man, overall, this group is very, very good. When you put linebackers into the mix, I think there's not 5 better D-line, pass linebackers groups in the NFL. And if Jermaine Johnson or Will McDonald make those leaps that they definitely can, this could be the best group in terms of D-line pass linebackers in the league. Like I honestly believe that the upside with these guys is that high that they could be that. And the good news for for the Jets and their defense does not stop there, because adding to that, you have to put your glasses back on, because we are going to show you the guys and their faces again. So 5 seconds, I will take my drink. It's cola this day. No cola, Pepsi. Oh, can I say that? I hope I can. It's Pepsi. I love Pepsi instead of cola. So let me know down in the comments. Do you prefer Pepsi or cola, or you feel like both of them are shit and I should not be drinking that? I think like the further option is always right, but yeah, it's just my guilty pleasure. Okay, let's go back to the players. DJ Reed, Ahmad Gardner, which you can definitely hear much more by the nickname of Sauce, or by the name of Sauce Gardner, and Michael Carter. Tony Adams, Jarek Bernard-Converse, Jordan Whitehead, Isaiah Oliver, Chuck Clark. Here we are before the offseason started, and here we are right now. So some minor additions, some improvements on the contracts because of rookie outperforming their deals for guys that are not drafting in the first round. Again, very good thing from NFL to just, if you are outplaying your contract, you should get paid earlier than after the rookie contract ends. So they are trying to like boost some money into these guys' payment, and I absolutely love that. So where do we start? I think we have to start with the cornerback room. Like what is there to say? Like Sauce Gardner is the best cornerback in the league. Like it's not even close. Like I like Jalen Ramsey's of the world, Jalen Johnson's of the world, but it's not close. Like Sauce Gardner, I mean, like I could throw Devon Witherspoon in the mix, but what Sauce is doing, like 2 years, and he was just. I mean, I think they would pick up his 5th option right now if they could. But it doesn't matter because they will always can pick it up. But it's just so certain. Like if he did not play in 2024 and 2025, and he didn't have like, there is no chance he's playing ever again. Like they would still, I think, if that's not the case, they would pick up the option, even though he would not play 2 years. Like he's that good. He, barring an like career-ending injury, he is a Hall of Famer, and I'm confident to say it. Like 2 years into his career, like he is that good. And then you have DJ Reed, who is the best number 2 corner in the league. I'm trying to think of someone who could challenge him for this title, and I'm not coming with that. Yeah, I think he's the best number 2 in the league. For most teams, he would be great number 1 that you would be absolutely happy to have. And then you have Michael Carter as your number 3, and that's just disgusting. Like, they complement each other, these guys. I mean, like what is there to say? You don't want to play these guys. Like they are absolutely exceptional. Like the only thing that you have to put this into perspective is they have the play D-line behind or in front of them that will impose their wills on a lot of O-lines in the league. and that definitely helps. Like when you are secondary and you know the QB does not have 5 seconds to decide, that allows you to be more aggressive, that allows you to be more sticky. But still, like, I mean, if you put them behind the worst D-lines in the league, I still feel like they would perform to their level. Like, they are that good. So what is there not to like? Like, I mean, only thing you kind of like is Isaiah Oliver. Is like, this guy is actually a good backup that for a lot of teams he would be their number 3, sometimes even number 2. And here he's unlikely going to see field very often. But that's if your only criticism of some group is there is a good player sitting on the bench that cannot play, that yeah, you know where you are with that group. Obviously, it's not sunshine and rainbows in terms of secondary because their safety room is mediocre at best and pretty much like bad. Like Tony Adams and Chuck Clark, they are not what you would call secure safety group, but you are paying them $3 million. So for the money, you are getting decent production, and given that they will be protected in a way by the D-line, by the CJ Mosley play call, and Robert Saleh play call, depends on who you trust more on the field. And they only need to cover so much ground because of the cornerbacks that they do have around them, then I just don't see teams being able to use this duo, because it's just so hard given the rest of the defense to just try to pick on these guys, because it just doesn't feel like you can do that. Because even if like safety absolutely busts his coverage, then it's 1-on-1 with Sauce Gardner. Good luck, good luck, guys. Like, good luck exploiting that, So I don't want to say like if they were playing without the safeties that this defense is still amazing, but it almost feels this way because the rest of this is so special. I would definitely consider drafting a safety within 3rd round or 4th round here, just to get them into the mix, and maybe you find a diamond in the rough there. Overall, for the secondary, I will call them top 3. Like, it's hard. It's kind of crazy because you just have 3 absolute stats for cornerbacks. So, but I feel like there might be a more complete room, maybe not as great on one specific position, but maybe better players in terms of safety. But top 3 is easily the ranking for this group, and we will see if we find a better secondary than this one. So I think that's all that I wanted to talk in terms of the rundown of the situation. And now we go to coaches and their special teams. Here's another like Aaron Rodgers connection in Nathaniel Hackett. I think he's getting a pass because Aaron Rodgers got injured, and that offense was so much like in preparation for Aaron Rodgers to work. So he's still employed, but his last 2 years as head coach in Denver and as an offensive coordinator here in Jets were dreadful. So he's kind of Alan Lazard. I don't think he should have gotten the job. He's gotten it because of Aaron Rodgers and the connection there, and you hope that he's gonna outperform the general view of him because the connection with Aaron. Like, I feel like that's a similar situation to Alan Lazard. I don't have huge trust in him, but I do have trust in Aaron Rodgers in terms of even if his play calling is absolutely shit, he can still think a way out of it. And with Nathaniel Hackett, I think there is a good chemistry between these two guys, so they can prepare this offense the way Aaron will want and the way that this could work for this team. In terms of Jeff Ulbrich, there is not much to say. He's former Falcons defensive coordinator. Like, again, when you have Robert Saleh, I feel like he is the guy that's gonna handle the defense. So I don't feel like Jeff Ulbrich is that of importance, but he is a decent option. I feel like with combination with Saleh, they could definitely work. But I feel like for him, it's kind of unfortunate situation because I feel like both Robert Saleh and Nathaniel Hackett jobs are on the line. If Jets don't make playoffs, they are both gone. I'm pretty certain of that. Even if Aaron Rodgers gets injured like week 1, like he did last year, their jobs are still on the line. They won't get a pass just because of that. And if that happens, Jeff Ulbrich is most likely gone as well because he's not a guy that they, I think, view as a successor to Robert Saleh, and the new regime would put him out. So it's like a weird situation to come in because you are not having, you won't have the handle of defense up to you because of Robert Saleh, and it's also like you are entering a situation that you could be gone within a year, and maybe not even by your bad job. It's just the nature of this. In terms of special teams, Thomas Morstead, one of the better punters. I'm not going to call him top punters, but he is definitely above average. With Greg Zuerlein, he had great year last season. Greg the leg, but he's getting there with an age. His main strength was always his leg. That's why he's called Greg the leg. It's not always gonna be about him being the precise kickers. And with that being said, you have to put the age into perspective because with precise kickers, they will be good even when their leg is not on top of their form, because they always wear that, you can trust them 40-45 yards, but you cannot trust them 50 yards. With Greg, he can kick you 50 yarder, but he's not precise as the other guy. So he's kind of a wild card to me because despite having a great season, there might be age regression for him as a kicker, and especially given what his strength is, that could be significant. Overall, where the Jets are, what their window is, that's where we're gonna end up this podcast at. Their window is right like this. It's wide open for the season. Just last night, it was announced that Bills are trading Stephon Diggs out of the division. Patriots are in my head, and I feel like by their signings are in rebuild. Miami lost a lot of players from their starters. They feel like the Bills, but Bills at least have Josh Allen, and I don't have that much trust in Tua. So just definitely are invested in this year. They still have Aaron Rodgers under contract for next season, but as you've seen with the secondary, there's a lot of players that DJ Reed is gonna need a new contract, Mike Carter is gonna need a new contract, and you will have 50 million cap hit on Aaron Rodgers instead of 17. So this is the year. This is definitely the year to save Robert Saleh's job, the year to win. And we are flipping, man. There's a lot of coins that if they fall heads, that this team is absolutely a Super Bowl contender. If they flip tails, then it might get ugly. So prepare for that. I'm not sure if there's any good bets for this. I will let you guys decide. But yeah, it could be a very interesting season. I am viewed as not a fan of Aaron Rodgers, and I'm not his hater, but I'm not his fan. But I wish that this will work, and I want to see it work. I want to see it not work. I want to see it have a chance to work. I want to see it healthy. I want to see this project healthy because it's rare to have such an impressive defense. And I want to see that paired with generational QB in terms of Aaron Rodgers, some amazing weapons in Garrett Wilson, Brees Huff. I just want to see that, man. I want to see that having a chance, and maybe play Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, and just want to see that matchup. So with that, that's our Jets. Thank you guys for sticking with me for a second time. No, you didn't. You are not there for the first time because my recording just stopped for no reason. Thank you guys for listening. Let me know down in the comments, how do you like new camera angle? How do you like maybe a bit of a change in terms of how I narrate this? In terms of we go more into what they did in free agency before we go to run down the whole situation. And let me know what you think about the Jets and their possibilities this season. Thank you guys for this, for your patience and for your support. We will see you guys with number 10. It's coming very, very soon, maybe even today or tomorrow. Have a nice one. Until then, see you.